Hello, and I'm happy to come your way again today. It's been a while since I made a podcast recording. I've been all over the place with something else, but I'm happy to come your way today again, as I've been on the internet and trying to go through what is happening or trying to catch up with life. And one thing keeps popping up, and I felt like throwing in my own word. I'm just going to be reading a Bible verse from here, and it's from Proverbs 12:26, and it says, "The righteous choose their friends carefully, but the way of the wicked leads them astray." You are giving your friends a seat at the table of your life. Since there are only a few seats that are close to you, be careful about who you give them to. Be careful about who you give the seats that are closest to you to. Be careful about who you call your friends. I think too many times I've talked about who are those in your circle. Who are the friends you have in your circle, the people you call friends? Do you trust them enough? And I'm going to come back to the reason why I'm doing this video, and I'm going to be very brief about it. Hopefully we'll be able to take something away with us today. So in calling a friend, who is your friend? Who are those you trust as your friend? Who is in your circle of friends? Too many times I've been on the internet and I see a number of people who have suddenly passed, and when you go back to see the cause of death, most of them have been poisoned. Most of the stories I've come across are people who are poisoned, and nobody can poison you if the person can't have access to you, or if the person is not in your circle of friends. And people are using too many ways to poison people for no apparent reason. Probably it's just because they feel that the person is being too successful, or the person has something they have that they cannot have. Too many times, at least I can count 3 stories I've just seen on the internet, and all, when you look at it or when you read the stories behind what killed them, it was because they were poisoned. The person who can harm you is the person who is closest to you. I have a personal story I've shared before, and I'm not going to repeat it now, but at least I've had my own share of this kind of thing. Is becoming too rampant. People are becoming very greedy. People are becoming very selfish. People have become very wicked. The world has become a very wicked place, and we all have to open our eyes and be very, very sensitive to the people around us, the people we call our friends, in the circles we find ourselves. People will easily poison you for nothing. For nothing. Sometimes you look at yourself and you wonder, what do I have? What is it that they want? And you cannot wrap your hand around it. Because it doesn't make sense when you think about it. But it's all because of envy, jealousy. And for me, I say that anybody who has an envious spirit is a witch. Why would you envy anybody for anything? And there's this thing that I remember when I used to go to church and I was little, that the pastor would preach and say, when God blesses your friend, you should know that God is within you, or is in close reach. So once the blessing has reached your friend, just keep expecting yours. Be in the right mood, position yourself right, and you receive it. Because once that God has blessed your friend, the blessings is in the group, the community, the neighborhood, is within the friendship, is amongst you, is very close. So why would you envy your friend who has just been blessed? Just because you feel whatever your friend have belongs to you. I pray for wisdom. Anybody who chances on this video, I pray for wisdom for you. I pray that God will open our eyes, myself included. God should open our eyes. God should make us sensitive to the world today. God should grant us wisdom to be able to discern. Spirit of discernment should be quickened, just so that we'll see the wicked people around us. There are too many of them. There are too many of them around us. And for me, I always say that if God was to open my eyes to see what goes on around me, I don't think I would ever step out of my room. Because sometimes when I step out and I see the eyes that look at me, there are people that I've never spoken to before in my life, yet I have heard them say to other people that I hate her. I have never spoken to them ever. I've never had a conversation with them. I've never said a word to them. Yet they say, I hate her. And then the next moment, they are inviting me to a party. How should I honor such a thing? People have become so callous, so wicked. But my prayer tonight to anybody who chances on this video is that God will bless us, open our eyes, and grant us a spirit of discernment to be sharper and quicker so that we'll be able to spot some of these things when they come. I pray for the peace of God upon your life. I pray for the blessings of God upon your life. I pray that God will touch our eyes, will touch our ears, our nose, our mouths, that all these senses will be awakened if they are dead, and will not give any room to chance, any room to any of these dubious, wicked people who will call themselves our friends just to come closer to us and harm us. In my closing, I'm going to read the Bible verse again. And the verse was from Proverbs 12:26. And it says, the righteous choose their friends carefully, but the way of the wicked leads them astray. You are giving your friends a seat at the table in your life. Since there are only a few seats that are close to you, be careful about who you give them to. This is going to be my sign-off message. I'm going to love and leave you and hopefully come your way again. Keep watching out for the next story on Podcast with Sheila. Have a brilliant day. Bye.